The wind cut through the empty street like broken glass, sharp and unforgiving. Cars rushed past, headlights blinding, tires hissing over puddles. But no one stopped. No one looked. And that's when he saw them. A little boy, barely 6, hugging himself in the bitter cold, and a young woman kneeling beside him, rubbing his arms desperately as he shivered uncontrollably. The single dad, Adil, froze mid-step, his grocery bag slipping from his numb fingers. Something inside him, something that had been broken and stitched back together too many times, pulled him forward. He didn't think. He didn't question. He simply ran. Paragraph 1 prompt. Right the moment the single dad sees the shivering boy and instantly decides to step in, emphasizing instinct, humanity, and urgency. Adil had been walking home from his late shift, exhausted down to his bones. His jacket was his only shield from the cold, and even that wasn't enough. But when he saw the child's trembling shoulders, the decision was made before he could breathe. He dropped to his knees in front of the boy and gently wrapped his warm jacket around him, pulling the boy and his mother closer so his body heat could shield them both from the burning night air. Paragraph 2 prompt. Show the mother's initial shock, her pride battling with reality, and the dad's calm reassurance. The woman gasped softly as the stranger's jacket landed over her son. Her eyes were red, tired, terrified, and full of a pain she tried desperately to hide. "You don't have to," she whispered, but Adil shook his head. "I know," he said, voice firm, steady, "but he's freezing. Let me help." The boy clung to him instinctively, seeking warmth he had been denied for too long. Paragraph 3 prompt. Reveal the challenge, why they were outside, stranded in the cold. Her name was Noor. She worked double shifts at a cafe miles away and had missed the last bus. Her phone battery died. The taxi she called never showed up, and she had no family in the city. Noor tried to stay strong for her son, Sami, but hunger and exhaustion were eating their way through her resolve. Adil listened quietly, the familiar ache in her voice striking deep in his heart. Paragraph 4 prompt. Connect their struggles. Adil's life as a single dad raising his own daughter. He understood too well. 2 years ago, after his wife passed away, he found himself alone with his daughter, Mehak. The world had felt colder then, too. People rushed past him in supermarkets when he searched for baby formula. Strangers judged him when Mehak cried in public. He knew exactly what it meant to feel invisible. Paragraph 5 prompt. Show the decision that changes everything. He offers them safety, warmth, help. "Come home with me," Adil said softly. Noor stiffened, fear flashing in her eyes, but he raised his palms. "Just warmth, food, and rest. Nothing more. Nobody should be out in this cold." For a moment she hesitated, but then Sami coughed, a deep rattling sound that broke whatever pride she had left. She nodded. Paragraph 6 prompt. Paint the emotional warmth of arriving at Adil's simple but welcoming home. His apartment was small, 2 bedrooms, old furniture, peeling paint, but it was warm. Mehak woke up when they entered and blinked sleepily at Sami, then walked over and quietly handed him her blanket without a word. Noor's eyes filled with tears at that, kindness from a child she had never met. Paragraph 7 prompt. Describe the first real meal they have together, and the bond that begins to form. Adil heated leftover lentil soup and rice. It wasn't much, but to Noor and Sami, it felt like a feast. As they ate, the tension in their shoulders finally relaxed. Sami smiled for the first time that night, warming the entire room more than any heater could. Paragraph 8 prompt. Introduce the deeper challenge. Noor's life struggle as a working single mother with no support. Later, when the kids fell asleep, Noor opened up. Her husband had abandoned them 2 years ago. She moved to the city for work, but rent was suffocating, childcare impossible, and she lived paycheck to paycheck. I'm really trying," she whispered, "but life is heavier than I thought." Paragraph 9 prompt. Adil shares his own story, creating trust and healing. Adil told her how he worked 2 jobs to support Mehak, how he burned out, how loneliness almost swallowed him whole. But every time Mehak smiles, he said, I remember why I keep going. Noor listened, realizing she wasn't alone. Their struggles were different, but their hearts beat the same rhythm of survival. Paragraph 10 prompt. Show a symbolic moment of growth, the kids bonding as friends. Over the next few days, while Noor looked for a safer job closer to the city center, the kids played together. Mehak braided Sami's hair. Sami taught her how to fold paper airplanes. Their laughter filled the apartment like sunlight breaking through clouds. Paragraph 11 prompt. Add tension. Noor faces a setback that breaks her courage. Just as things seemed to stabilize, the cafe called. Her position was terminated due to staff reduction. Noor broke down for the first time in front of Adil. I can't do this anymore, she cried. I'm failing my son. But Adil didn't let her sink. You're not failing, he said firmly. You're fighting, and fighters don't lose, they learn. Paragraph 12 prompt. Adil steps in again, this time not with warmth but opportunity. He talked to a friend who owned a small bakery. Within a day, Noor had an interview. Within 2, she had a job, day shift, better pay, closer to home. When she hugged him in gratitude, Adil froze, realizing how much her presence had come to mean to him. Paragraph 13 prompt. Bring the emotional climax. Adil realizes he's found not just people to help, but a family. Weeks passed. Their lives intertwined naturally. Dinners together, school drop-offs, small celebrations, shared laughter. Adil slowly realized that the night he gave away his jacket, he gained something he didn't know he was missing: companionship, warmth, a chance to heal. Paragraph 14 prompt. The final challenge. Noor must decide whether to move to a new apartment or stay close to Adil. When Noor saved enough to rent her own place, she hesitated. I'm afraid of being on my own again, she admitted. Adil looked at her gently. You're not alone anymore, he said. Not unless you choose to be. Her eyes answered before her lips did. Paragraph 15 prompt ending. Deliver a heartwarming message about kindness, connection, and how a single act can change everything. In the end, it all began with a freezing night. A boy shivering on the street, and a single dad who didn't walk past. Kindness didn't just keep a child warm that night. It stitched together 2 broken families and created one whole one. Sometimes the smallest act becomes the biggest miracle. Call to action. For your channel, be kind always. If this story touched your heart, comment below and tell us what part inspired you the most. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to support the channel. Be kind always. Your engagement helps us continue creating powerful, emotional stories that spread kindness and hope in the world.